YouTube! Today we are watching a FLEEKAZOID video titled Monster Hunter Wilds Review. Unleash your inner furry. Monsters gone wild. I never played this game, but my friends played it and they really liked it. So, yeah, not really my kind of game. But it is cute. I watched my friends play it. I didn't really understand, like, how to play it myself. My friends were super into it, though, so they really liked it. But it was not really my kind of game, honestly. And they only played it for, like, a month, and then they all stopped playing it, and now none of them even touch it anymore, so. Anyways, I'm gonna like the video, because I'm sure it's gonna be so amazing. I guess I'm gonna watch furry porn today on stream. I'm ready.
Troops, it's time to make Payday angry. What? Oh, this? No, this isn't a fursuit.
What are you talking about? This is my high-level armor. Come on, quit being jealous.
That is definitely a fursuit, and you know it. Don't lie to me! Don't lie to me!
It's unbecoming. Monster Hunter Wilds is the latest furry indoctrination.
Wait, this is the game you guys have been playing? Is this modded in, or is this legit? Hold up. It's a mod. Okay, I was about to say, it looked lame as f watching everyone else play it. I was like, yeah, this game looks boring as hell, but as long as, if you like it, then have fun. But if this was in the game, I maybe would have tried it. But you're telling me this is a mod? I'm not interested. But I think I'm gonna like this video. People have gone wild with the booba mods. I mean, good. They had a bikini event recently. That's official. Humana. That's me and a pile of boobies. They go wild over on Final Fantasy 14. I've never played any Final Fantasy games. Games aren't allowed to have big booba anymore. Yeah, because of f***ing tectonic plates and shit. You guys, you know what? You guys can thank tectonic plates and volcanoes and tsunamis for the reason that you're not allowed to have big boobas in games anymore. Tectonic plates are made up by the government. Yeah, it's all a ruse to get you to do your fucking taxes. Don't ask me how I came to this conclusion. I just know. I have no sources. My source? I made it the fuck up. Tectonic plates. Grrr. I trust Foofy Bear. Hi, Devo. I trust Foofy Bear. Tectonic plates. Fuck them. It came to me in a dream. Exactly. You guys can trust me. I'm a fucking bear. Yeah.
Sandbox where you smack big monsters for 100 hours and somehow don't get bored of it. It's David and Goliath if David drugged Goliath and brought him back to his special dungeon. It's my favorite franchise where you can turn an endangered animal into a fur coat, and it's the fork in the road that either leads to becoming a furry or Cabela's. But for me, it's just another fine addition to my collection of games where
Have you guys ever been to a Cabela's? Have you guys ever been? I haven't been to one in a really long time, but I went to Cabela's when I was a kid, and I remember there was this big fucking fish tank. It was huge, and it was full of fish. There were so many fish in it. And my dad, I asked my dad, I was like, why do they have fish here? And he was like, to test on them. And I was like, what does that even mean? And he brought over a bunch of lures, and he like held them to the glass, and he was like, look. And he was like shaking them in their faces. And to that day, I was convinced. I was like, oh man, before you buy like bait and stuff, you bring it over to the fish to test on it. He was just fucking with me, but as a kid, I believed it up until very recently. He got one of like those like lures, like the shiny lures, and he like held it up to the tank and he was like, look, you try to see if they come over and look at it. And I was like, oh wow, that's really cool. And no, I was little, like you could still like pick me up and carry me. I was that kind of little, like that small of a child. I don't know why I remember this. I just remember that, like, oh yeah, the reason, and I remember telling people that in school too. Like I went to school the next day and I was like, guys, have you ever been to Cabela's? And some kids said yes, some kids said no. And I was like, do you know the reason they have the fish tanks is so you can test the bait on them? And they were like, you're lying. And I was like, no, my dad told me. And they were like, mm-mm. And I remember getting into fights with kids. I fist fought another kid because they told me the tooth fairy wasn't real. I've always been very firm in my beliefs. But I did fist fight a kid in 3rd grade because he told me the tooth fairy wasn't real. And I remember we were on our way to the playground. We were walking in line in the hallway, and he was standing right behind me, and he kept poking me because he was like, Tooth Fairy's not real, and he was like poking me, and I turned around and I just jumped on him, and I was like, I mean, I didn't know how to fist fight as a kid, so I was more like slapping him. But yeah, the teachers pulled us off each other, and they called my mom. And I started crying, and I didn't know what to do because I was scared, and I knew that if I said it was because of the Tooth Fairy, I'd get in trouble. So instead, I just said that my grandpa was dead and I missed him, and that's why I attacked another student. I know it doesn't make any sense, but in my childhood brain, I was like, this is gonna make sense. Surely this will get me off the hook. I can't tell anyone that I beat him up because of the Tooth Fairy. So instead, I just have to say that it was because my grandpa died like a week ago. I don't beat anybody else. Okay? But yeah, that's not why I beat him up. I guess I can finally say it. I beat that kid up because he was saying the Tooth Fairy wasn't real. Tell him you beat him up because the Tooth Fairy sends you to collect. Honestly, it wasn't that bad of like a fight. I just kind of jumped on him and was like slapping him. But yeah, I did that as a kid.
In fact, this game is so much fun, I didn't have to use mods. I mean, besides a couple of quality of life things, but they're just some small front-end tweaks. I promise you, you're not even gonna notice it. I mean, when our blacksmith looks like this,
I don't even need to use mods.
what I do need is for this entire story to fuck off right now. I'll tell you what's really wild. The tutorial is 8 hours long, and they call it the main story. They put in so many cutscenes and walk-alongs that I kept forgetting what the dodge button was between fights. I go from ODing on dopamine in the fights to going cold turkey in the cutscenes. These cutscenes are like dopamine detoxes. Get that annoying little shit out of my face. I get that the story is supposed to build up all these fights and give you more of a reason to want to hunt the monsters, but you misunderstand me, Capcom. I already have a reason. I want to turn that gangly bitch into a mink coat. I don't need to know who they are, where they come from, or why they're here. I need to know if killing them will—
I thought this was a multiplayer game. So it's like story. I mean, listen, I never really got into— is this like an MMO? I never really got into like MMO RPGs. Is that what this is? They were never really my kind of game. You know, team invite based, co-op, not an MMO. I just never really got into these kinds of games ever. The thing was, even when I did try to get into these games, like my friends would always like go ahead of me and leave me behind all the time. So cause you know, like I didn't get to play as much as everybody else did. So then like, I'm just like left behind in these kinds of games. It's not really my thing. So I just disliked them from the get-go, honestly. I didn't like Helldivers because that game was actually really hard. I don't know why, but Helldivers was incredibly hard for me to see anything. I don't know what it was about that game, but I couldn't see the enemies. I don't know why. It was like really I didn't like it right off the bat. Yeah, like the bugs like blended in too much and it was really hard for me to like see anything. And there was way too much. The visibility was just really hard for me in that game. And also, like, it was just too much. It was just way too much stuff. I wasn't into it. I mean, if my friends, like, begged me to play, I guess I would play. But it's just never— it's not a game that I would ever pick up if somebody was like if I had nothing to do, I would never, ever pick that game up. But if a friend was like, I really want to play it, I guess I would play it. But it's not my kind of game. I think I got burnt out because I was really into Neverwinter as a young bear. Like I loved Neverwinter, and I think I just got burnt out on games like that you have to like grind for that kind of stuff. I much more prefer like— I don't know, my favorite game right now is definitely Outlast Trials. So if that says anything about the kinds of games that I like, there's not really many games like Outlast Trials, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm not into really grindy games. Was Neverwinter an entirely separate entity from Neverwinter Nights? Yes.
Will help me make my great sword even greater. The only motivation this is giving me is to skip the cutscenes until I see a big old monster show up. Like those monsters right there. God damn, Gemma. huh? Look at those big naturals. What is that, tungsten steel? Luckily, once the main story is done, they just let you smack the fucking monsters. But before we get into fucking monsters, let's talk about stalking monsters. Wilds is way more actiony and streamlined than the previous entries. In previous games, just to find these bastards, you would have to interview the chicken's family, past lovers, you'd have to find piles of shit and take a little nibble and go, he's within 100 meters of here, I know it. Tonight's the night, and it's gonna keep happening again and again and again. Oh shit, there he is. Only to have to repeat this all over again 10 minutes later because the bastard rolled away mid-fight. I thought I was getting an animal cruelty simulator, and instead I got a shitty serial killer getting his daily cardio simulator. PETA shouldn't be mad about this game. I think this is more the fat activist jurisdiction. Whereas in Wilds, you load in, hop on the bird, turn on autopilot, go take a dump, come back, and there's the frog staring you down deviously.
Yeah, there he is.
Kiss me on my hot mouth.
Now when he runs, I'm tracking that bitch on Find My Fursuit. We're one game away from not even showing up to the battlefield anymore and just drone striking these bastards. I get it now, new Assassin's Creed fans. Letting the game play itself is way better than me playing it. I can only imagine how good it feels to avoid playing your dog shit game. But for now, we still gotta mince our meat. And with that being said, the combat's fantastic, no matter what weapon you use. The flow is stupendous. The new aiming feature gives me a snowball's chance in hell at reaching these tall monsters' taints, and I don't even think a single franchise out there has as impactful hits as Monster Hunter does. When you're smacking them, the scales come off, tails come off, you're shaving them like one of those meat tornadoes at the kebab places. Except instead of questionable meat-like compounds, you're shaving off a little Gucci, a little Cucinelli, a little Prada, a little Tom Ford.
Oh my god, stop, I can only get so erect. Jesus. Wow, I think that every game needs to have booby mods.
I'm shaving off this drip by the fistful. And I know I said any weapon is fun, but you should know by now not to listen to me. There's only one weapon that will allow you through the pearly gates, and that's the great sword. Some people will say there's no need to go all in because you can just bring a second weapon, and they're right. You do get a second weapon, another great sword. Shut up and go get Gemma to make you a Cosby sword to go with your regular sword. Gunlance users are out here struggling on monsters as simple as the flaming cocks.
Does it have to be melee?
Can you imagine that? Great sword havers can't. The great sword's all about smacking the shit out of a monster as hard as you can, as slowly as you can, while taking the absolute most damage you can. Make no mistake about it, choosing the great sword is choosing to take a hurtin'. I'm out here popping mega potions like Percocets. Can't feel a fuck to give. I am him. That's very different from the gunland.
They must have amnesia. They forgot that I'm him.
Lance user strategy of the best offense is getting killed immediately and letting your friend beat the boss for you. Humble opinion here, but Gunlance users should be put up against a wall and showered with shampoo and body wash. Get that sweaty shit out of here. Did you know that 9 out of 10 Gunlance users are furries? That stat just came out. Go look it up. The great sword has hit, block, and parry. What more do you need? But with great power comes great responsibility. Parrying ain't easy. You have to start your parry 7 years beforehand and then hope it lines up with him being 3 feet away from you in the middle of an attack. Timing is essential. When their back is turned on you, not yet. When they just started their attack, not yet. When your wife starts banging the neighbor, not yet. It's all about that perfect moment. When now!
This feels like...
Sunk it. Listen, if you can't get the parry down, just go find a great...
This feels like Elden Ring.
Sword user who did get it down that'll carry you until Capcom servers take a shit. Now with all that being said, weapons are only half the battle.
I would like a big
fucking up
hammer.
Explosive barrel tosses or using the environment against the monsters. And the environment can be any number of things. You can pull a cliff down on a frog, you can lure him into a vine trap. Hell, sometimes a hawk will come down to double team that cock. Except you shouldn't double team him. I'll tell you what you should do. You should remove yourself from the situation and take a little inspiration from Mike Vick's playbook. That's right, start taking bets. Who's gonna win, the hawk or the cock? This is a God-given side hustle laid upon your feet. Are you an entrepreneur or not? If you see 2 dogs fucking and don't start charging matinees and running Facebook ads for it, then I guess you just don't want a Lamborghini.
What?
Do you? Bill. Profit, profit, profit. Then go use that money to craft more weapons. I just crafted a heavy bowgun. I don't like heavy bowguns. I would never even fucking touch a heavy bowgun. I just wanted to see the blacksmith again. That's business. As far as what armor you should use,
Me
just craft
too.
whichever fursuit matches your persona. Listen, pimps, I gotta admit something to you. This whole time I was in fact using mods. And not just the quality of life mods I told you about. I admit I used mods to make the heavies heavier. I know, you probably didn't even notice, but I had to confess. I had to confess before I showed you this last mod. I've gone too far, damn it. Too far!
Show it to me!
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
What the f? Excuse me? Don't say based mod. You're so sick. The mod replaces one of the monsters into the blacksmith girl?